at 4, Hurricane Florence is turning toward the East Coast. The warning from emergency officials as they prepare for the worst.
Much quieter weather here locally. We're just dealing with a few afternoon showers, mostly south of Buffalo. We're tracking some summer-like weather on the way this weekend. I'll tell you all about that coming up in your 4-1 forecast.
And it is primary day. We'll take a look at the key races and what you need to know before heading to the polls.
From the station with the most local news, this is News 4 at 4.
Please do not let your guard down. The storm surge forecast associated with this storm has not changed. It has remained the same.
This is a powerful storm that can kill.
In your top 4 at 4, officials are sounding the alarm as Hurricane Florence approaches the Carolina coast. It is expected to bring several days of heavy rain. More than 1 million people are being ordered to evacuate. And here's a live look at right now at Frying Pan Shoals in North Carolina. You can see it's very windy there already, and it looks like the water is very rough as well. Let's check in with meteorologist Andrew Baglini. He's been tracking this storm since the very beginning. And Andrew, it does feel like you have been tracking this for a while now.
I mean, this storm has been, a lengthy one for sure. It's been around for weeks, and it did reach Category 4 status, a week ago, and then it regained it. Right now, it's a Category 2 storm. And by the way, that camera we just took a look at, if you just saw that American flag was sort of tethered about an hour and a half ago. I've been watching that same camera feed about an hour and a half ago. That was completely fine and intact. So the winds have really been picking up as the storm draws near. Want to start off with an update here on Hurricane Florence, still a Category 2 storm, and it's easy to focus on the category and the winds. The category is based on the winds, sustained winds at 105 miles an hour. But I don't think this storm is going to be remembered for the winds, for the destructive winds. It's going to be remembered for the water, the storm surge, and of course the rain. That's been the biggest concern, and that's why it doesn't really matter what category it is at landfall. The impacts are locked in. So over the next 48 hours, it is slowly trekking through the Carolinas. Again, it made that little westerly turn in the models yesterday. So it's coming in close to Wilmington through South Carolina, and this is the track from right now through Sunday morning. It doesn't move very far, and that's why incredible amounts of rain are going to be bringing major flooding to a widespread area. This will continue to weaken, and the remnant moisture hooks up to the north and east. And by Tuesday, we may actually see a few showers reaching us here in western New York. It looks like the heaviest of that rain should be passing to the south and east, but we'll likely get some downpours here in western New York. But rainfall amounts, a lot of areas 10 to 20 inches near the Carolina shores, and even more than that, but 5 to 10 inches of rain through western North and South Carolina. Yeah, that's enough to bring major flooding. So it's definitely a scary situation here. Locally, we've got a little feed of moisture coming in from the south. That's bringing us more cloud cover and just some very spotty light showers south of Buffalo this afternoon. This activity will wind down in the next few hours. We have actually seen a little bit of sunshine around Buffalo and points north. Taking a look up at the Niagara Falls camera, yeah, some low clouds overhead, but staying dry. Temperatures have actually reached into the low 80s. It's been a warmer day out there. Dew points up there. The humidity is across western New York, and that's going to allow for a little bit more fog to develop overnight. Otherwise, a pretty muggy Thursday evening, and this is just a precursor to a summer-like weekend. I'll tell you all about that coming up in your full 4-1 forecast in just a bit. Christy.
All right, Andrew, thank you. And remember, you can get the latest forecast in the palm of your hand anytime. Just download our News 4 app. It has the latest news, weather, sports, traffic, and more, and it is free for your phone or your tablet. New at 4, a Dunkirk man found guilty of second-degree kidnapping learned his fate. A judge sentenced Samuel Sally to 16 years in prison plus 10 years post-release supervision. Prosecutors say he took a 13-year-old boy from the Fredonia Walmart parking lot in 2016. The boy was found 40 minutes later in Fredonia. Police arrested Saley after reviewing surveillance video that showed him leaving the parking lot with the boy. 2 men are dead after their rowboat overturned on a private lake at the end of Billow Road. That is in Alden. Deputies say the victims were both in their 70s and were participating in an annual Rotary Club fishing event on North Millgrove Lake. Investigators haven't released their names. We are still working to find out what caused the boat to flip over. We are learning more about a deadly crash on the 33. It happened around 2 o'clock this morning near Suffolk Avenue. Buffalo police say a 20-year-old woman was driving the wrong way on the Kensington when she crashed into another vehicle. Both cars started on fire. The woman driving the wrong way was pronounced dead at the scene. A man who lives nearby explains how he and others tried to help.
So I rush out of my house and see everybody's all right, and a lot of people running towards the vehicle with extinguishers trying to put it out because it caught on fire.
2 road workers were hit while clearing the area, but are expected to survive. Authorities say the other driver is also expected to survive. The names of the victims have not been released. We are also learning more about a crash that killed a motorcyclist early this morning in Marilla. It happened on Parker Road. Erie County deputies tell us the driver was found by someone passing by. They say they think the cyclist was hit by a deer, lost control, and crashed. We know the victim is a man, but his name has not yet been released. Voters across New York State have important decisions to make today. It is primary day, and voters will decide on Democratic lines for several key races like the governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general. News 4's Angela Cristoforos joins us from a polling center in Buffalo with everything you need to know.
Voters are making their way to polling centers across western New York. On this primary day, we have our eye on several races. The biggest one is the race for governor.
I know people are usually used to voting in primaries on Tuesday. This year, it's Thursday, so encouraging everyone to take advantage of the precious right to vote.
Today, Democrats have decisions to make in several key races, like the one for governor.
It's our civic duty, and we can't really have a voice in this community if we don't exercise that right.
Actress and progressive activist Cynthia Nixon is trying to unseat Governor Andrew Cuomo, a long-term incumbent. Nixon says she has helped move the race and her opponent in a more progressive direction.
Most especially, I would say, how far he's moved on legalizing marijuana, on a whole host of environmental issues.
Yesterday, the governor did not talk about his primary opponent. Instead, he talked about the many lawsuits the state has filed against President Trump.
There's still a constitution, and he has to obey the law, and we're going to sue him when he disobeys the law.
Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul made her way into the polling center at Marine Drive Apartments in Buffalo to cast her vote for lieutenant governor.
I'm the only candidate running at all for all the races who's from upstate New York, and I'm very proud of that.
New York City Councilman Jumaine Williams is challenging Hochul. There's also a 4-way race for Attorney General. Polling centers officially close at 9 o'clock tonight. We'll have all of your primary day election results tonight on News 4. In Buffalo, Angela Cristoforos, News 4.
Angela, thank you. And locally, there is a race for the 63rd district. Incumbent Senator Tim Kennedy is facing a challenge from Shakura Zachary. And News 4 will have continuing coverage on primary day this afternoon, and we'll have all the results from tonight's primary on News 4 at 11. For election updates anytime, be sure to download our News 4 app. It is free for your phone or your tablet. You can also go to our website, WIVB.com. Congressman Chris Collins says he will cooperate with local GOP officials in removing his name from the congressional ballot. Now we have a better idea where he could land. Local Republican leaders say they're setting their sights in Collins' hometown of Clarence. Collins is accused of insider trading and lying to the FBI. He suspended his re-election campaign last month, but his name can only come off the ballot for Congress if he dies, moves out of state, or accepts a nomination for another office. The final decision is expected early next week. News 4's Jen Shantz will have reaction from Democrats coming up on News 4 at 5:30. Well, Sabres fans, listen up. The team announced its training camp schedule today. Players report for physicals today and hit the ice tomorrow. Practices will be held at the Harbor Center and will be open to the public. We have the full schedule on our website, WIVB.com. Next on News 4 at 4, it's a bird, it's a plane. Nope, it is just Usain Bolt sprinting in zero gravity. We'll give you a look at the Olympic athletes' race against astronauts coming up next.